Hello. This is Gresh here, and I think it's day 27 or so of this franchise broker journey. And I actually had a call. I want to say it was Thursday or Friday, where I talked with somebody who I hadn't talked with in some years, and she's a coach, and she does some phenomenal work. And I remember having some really powerful kind of sessions with her. She does a lot of like kind of energy work, and if you really drill down, I'm a big believer as well too, in that so many things are energy, and if not everything is energy. And I'm not a big scientist, or I know a lot about exactly what is, and how to explain everything, but I do believe strongly in that there are so many things that are energy. But one of the things that we end up talking about, is she said she had a lot of transformation in her business because she had to pretty much kind of let go of things, let things kind of crash and burn and do those things that they did. And I asked her, which is what I wanted to kind of talk about today, is how do you know when and maybe even how to let things go? And she said sometimes you just kind of have to let those things go. Sometimes you pray about it, and as I get ready to go to church, it's like you just want clarity around what things should be, what things should not be. And sometimes when you try to control all the things and you try to keep and prop things up, that ends up being a hindrance to what actually could be. So as I go through this transformation myself, as we have a new baby on the way, as I start a new business and do all those things, I'm trying to be very cognizant to what things may be, or at the end of the season, or at least needs to be like the phoenix and kind of transform from what it was to what it ultimately is. And I feel very called to you know have that media company kind of mentality and mindset around everything that I'm doing, but it does require a lot of us letting go of things that we did in the past, and that's really hard and difficult. But one of the podcast interviews, and actually a conversation I also had this past week, we talked a lot around your body will sometimes tell you what you should be doing, and how we should be very cognizant of like how we feel. If we feel like that apprehension, or we feel like it doesn't feel right for whatever reason, it can be classified as like woo woo. But I believe in reality, sometimes our body tells us based off of interaction. Sometimes we can't even put into words. Like if you feel like a little bit more of anxiety, it's maybe because of something that has happened. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's right, but it just makes us aware of something we should be kind of looking more into. So those are really huge things and really big things that I think we need to pay attention to when our body's telling us something, when we have kind of like that quote unquote gut feeling, or we have that intuition, or however you define it. I believe truly that God speaks to us in many different ways. So for me, I think that sometimes God is whispering to us and telling us those things, and those whispers get louder and louder and louder, and end up being a really big transformational moment. But I think it's on us to continue to kind of make sure that we're checking in with God, we're having those conversations, those relationships, we're reading His Word, so that we can know when to make that transition. So as I go through, this transition that's happening in my life, and as I add on more things, it's also very important that I let go of things, or let things kind of transform into the things that they're going to be. So that's something that I'm really focused on, is just like not being so um not having my hands clenched around the things that I want. And when I was talking with my wife this morning, a lot of what I said on the podcast is don't let the how get in the way of the why. And why you want to do things, why you want to make that impact. Don't let the how like distract from that. And so that's something that's really coming up a lot for me, as I go through this transition, this change of like, what am I clenched onto that I need to let go of? What, and I say this a lot too, being like the kid in the jungle gym, what rung do I need to let go of so I can swing to the next rung? So that's something that's really big, is just understanding what to let go of, what to move forward to, and just how that's going to happen. So I'm excited because I like change. I like new things. I like change that I initiate. Let me say that, rather than change that is initiated to me. But I'm a big believer that we initiate that change that helps reduce the likelihood of things that are happening to us. So I'm trying to be really on top of like taking those step forwards and see what comes from there. So this is Gresh signing out. Yeah, it's just all about change, all around letting sometimes things crash and crumble, because the things that are the essence of what you're supposed to do, how you do it, will be left standing, or at least will have to be rebuilt in a different way. So I'm trying to initiate that and do that in a smooth and methodical way as possible. um we'll just see how everything goes from there.